My presentation is part of the third-party collaboration, so I will mainly talk about the collaboration in China between AUTOSAR and CATARC, which I will introduce more in detail later. And originally, Mrs. Wu Hanbing should also come here and present together with me. Because visa application challenge, she could not be here, so I'll be introducing both parts for AUTOSAR China and also CATARC. My name is Jing, and I'm working at Bosch China. Currently, I'm responsible for technology strategy and systems engineering at Bosch China, mainly looking at new technology in the automotive area. And my other task is with AUTOSAR organization. I've been doing that for more than 10 years, kind of representing AUTOSAR organization in China, promoting it, getting more companies onto AUTOSAR, and trying to avoid competing standards from being made. And a little bit about Mrs. Wu Hanbing. She's currently Deputy Director in the Automotive Standardization Institute at CATARC. So that institute I will introduce more in detail, but they are generally responsible for the national standards in the automotive standard in China. And Ms. Wu, she's in the ICV part, so Intelligent and Connected Vehicle part or department for the standardization. And so she's organizing and handling multiple working groups in this area, and especially related to vehicle software. And my introduction is containing these three sections. Firstly, I would like to introduce a little bit what has happened in China with AUTOSAR China. And then secondly, I will focus more on the CATARC side, spend a little bit more time there than the AUTOSAR part. On behalf of Mrs. Wu, and finally, I'll introduce very briefly how we see the future collaboration. So firstly, about AUTOSAR in China. I personally started supporting AUTOSAR organization in the year 2011. And then in 2013, I became the representative from AUTOSAR to China. And this page shows a few pictures of AUTOSAR open conferences. Happened in China actually twice, once in 2012 in Beijing and once in 2018 in Shanghai. And on the right side, you see we started the AUTOSAR China Day since 3 years ago. So this year we had it in March. That's the third time. It's in a similar format as the AUTOSAR Open Conference, but focusing on China and inside China. And during the years, we spent quite some effort on communicating inside the automotive industry in China. In our hats of AUTOSAR towards, for example, OEMs in China on the left side, and also with some organizations, also third-party organizations in China. This includes, for example, CAAM, which is Automobile Manufacturer Association, and also other organizations. And you can see some familiar faces from AUTOSAR here from these pictures. And we also had 2 times user group projects in China. The first one was in 2014, and at the time, AUTOSAR was really a new topic in China, and people didn't know how to use it, and they found a lot of challenges. So we got a few companies and universities together and worked on a demo EV, so electric vehicle, with a few controllers on board connected via CAN bus, and we applied AUTOSAR basic software to those controllers. And the topic was how to start with AUTOSAR. And then in 2019, we started a second time user group, and this time split into two subgroups. One subgroup focused on also a demo, but this time with AutoSAR adaptive platform. It's a network OTA demo, so over-the-air update, and containing multiple network nodes, mainly based on Ethernet, and also with AutoSAR Classic platform. And we showed that on the right side, you can see this demo system, and we showed that in a conference in China and presented the results to the audience. And so it's more or less like how to start with AutoSAR AP. And also the other subgroup was with V2X focus. And in this subgroup, we, from AutoSAR China side, has communication with the ICV part of China associations, and this also triggered later the V2X China team in the AutoSAR working group. And on this page, you can see the current setup. Since last year, we officially have the AutoSAR China hub, and we do have a few more colleagues supporting me. Officially, Echo Wang, she's also here this time. You can talk to her later. And we have a few more colleagues from the AutoSAR China community also participating in the organization, in the work we're doing. And currently, we also have some user group activities containing two programs. One is a training program, which we offer kind of for free to the AutoSAR partners in China and also university students and teachers. And the trainers are from the AutoSAR enthusiasts and from the AutoSAR partners and also private persons. And then we also have a university program which we intend to help more university professors to bring some AutoSAR flavor into their lectures, for example, and into their projects. Right now, we have just done, or we have some other focus on the university program as well, like strengthening the connection between the universities and the industry, the companies, AutoSAR related. And we have done this year joint recruitment event, so that multiple companies from AutoSAR came together and say, we need AutoSAR engineers, and we would like to introduce our open positions together to universities. So a few hundred students participated in that event. And later we also want to have, we want to prepare some lecture materials, maybe based on the global AutoSAR university package, and also maybe create some new contents based on China needs, and use that for the universities in China. And there's a small blue box below the big box. That's the part we would like to promote, maybe starting this year or latest early next year, to strengthen the regional participation from Chinese AutoSAR partners who have a development license, meaning the premium partners, development partners, so they can better participate in the working groups, which today is not the case. And that may also be led by our third-party collaboration later. And the lower right corner, you can see the number of partners in China is growing quite quickly during the last years. So when I started 10 years ago, it was like around 10 partners in China, and no premium partner, no development partner. And now we can see a bigger variety. And this is currently partners from China. And you can see it covers a big range of types. There's one premium partner plus Huawei, and so they are having, they are participating in the project leader team of AutoSAR already. And we have, besides the associate partners, also some premium partners and development partners, which can contribute. They should contribute, and they can contribute to the AUTOSAR standardization. And we would like to utilize that better in future. And then introduction about CATARC and what they're doing in the vehicle OS standards. So firstly, a little introduction. So CATARC is a state-owned company in China which focuses on automotive research and engineering. And they have many different departments, and they used to have one institute called the Automotive Standardization Institute, which handles all the national standard making process on behalf of they report to the state administration of standard, and also to the Ministry of MIIT, the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology. And so last year, their institute became bigger and have a higher status. It's called the Chinese Automotive Standardization Research Institute now. And they're still doing almost the same, but they're bigger than before. And inside this institute, what we are introducing today is mainly related to ICVs, so intelligent connected vehicles, which is similar to automated driving vehicles and connected. And then nationally, they are handling these standards inside China. And internationally, they would also like to collaborate and align the standards onto global standards, or bring Chinese flavors into global standards. And on the topic vehicle OS standard system, I'll introduce briefly. They started doing this back in 2019 when the China government thinks it's important, it's a time to define some standards for the industry in this area. And then they started with some standard research group and people coming together talking about what could the standards look like, what should be defined, what should not. And so they came up with some results, and which today they say it doesn't 100% fulfill the needs of the ICV industry, because the industry is growing too fast. The requirements are changing, and how people are doing development is also changing. But from the result, you can see the blocked diagrams. They have a vehicle system OS as one concept. Below it, they split it into two parts. On the left side is the vehicle controlled operating system. On the right side, vehicle info operating system. And inside the vehicle control operating system, they again separated into two parts. One is more the real-time operating system they call Safety OS for the ECUs. And then the other part is mainly for the automated driving, the intelligent OS part. And their work actually mainly focused on the automated driving OS and also the vehicle info OS, not the real-time OS, which they believe is quite mature, already very well defined by AUTOSAR. And then in 2022, the industry in China found the ICV industry is developing too fast, and the standardization system also needs to be updated with the industry development. So the government also triggered an update on the standard system, saying, okay, we had a framework, and it needs to be standardized, needs to be updated. And then there are some more blocks inside the whole system, And related to our topic today, it's mainly there's a new block called vehicle software. And there is what the vehicle operating system topic inside today. And this work was also led by CATARC to update this standard framework. And if we focus on what has been done in this area, we can see that it started in 2019. Firstly, formed a standard system, and then under this system, there were two national standards, recommended national standards, defined for the automated cars and also the vehicle info OS. And but today, CATARC declares that those standards are firstly not mandatory. They're not something everybody must follow. It's helping some Chinese companies who are starting in this area who are not sure how to make the software framework, and they can look at this standard and get some understanding. And it should help these companies, these guys, to start their work. And the next thing is they say, oh, things are changing. We're even seeing that fusion coming between the ADAS system and the infotainment system. Maybe they come together. And then this current separation of operating systems would be obsolete. So this is also not defined for the future. But nevertheless, it was a good practice in China to better understand it, better understand the software system, better understand what does vehicle operating system mean, and which is a good basis for future work in this area. A little bit details on the software standard made. So this is the automated OS or the vehicle control OS framework, and this mainly define the middleware part, the bigger part in the middle, and they separate it into two parts. Below they call it system OS, which is maybe including AutoSAR AP inside, and it's more on the hardware closed side. And then above this part, they call it functional software or function software, which is a middleware part which is more related to applications, maybe sensor related part, AI framework, etc. And then in the vehicle info OS part, they separate it into two diagrams. One is for single system, but just for reference, because they also change it a lot. And the other one is for multi-system. And basically they said everything is possible. You're allowed to use hardware separation or hypervisor or container technologies to have multiple systems. So the standard should not limit people from realize their systems. And this is also the kind of concept they are trying, so CATARC is trying to promote into the global standards, into ISO organization. And yeah, on this page, it talks about the international efforts related to the vehicle info OS. CATARC with a few Chinese companies who mainly contributed to the national standards on vehicle info OS. They together went to ISO and started this discussion and formed an informal group before, did a few rounds of introduction and discussions. Right now, they are submitting this idea for voting so that people can decide whether that's a suitable topic for the ISO organization. Yeah, that was about the vehicle OS standardization activities, and right now, CATARC is starting a new round on the standardization. It's called Automotive Software Standard System, and getting companies, experts together and discuss how the future standards should be like in China for the national standard system. And from AUTOSAR and CATARC, we both are looking into the future and would like to provide standards to the industry to meet the needs in the ICV industry or software-defined vehicle industry. And we see similarities of things we would like to achieve. And we both agree that in the world, it's best for everyone if there's one standard system instead of multiple different standard systems, especially the current AUTOSAR vehicle API topic with COVESA. And in future, we hope this collaboration, we can come together really globally with COVESA, with JASPA, and we can define maybe the vehicle API interfaces, standardized interfaces in the vehicles together, really to support an ecosystem, a software ecosystem, to be alive for the automotive industry. So that is the direction we would like to go. With this ecosystem, we can imagine something like software apps for our mobile phones today, and in future, some vehicle applications can be developed once by someone, and they develop it really well. And with the standardized interfaces, they can sell it, provide it through an app store to anyone, to any brand. And maybe the OEM doesn't have to pay for the development. The end user can choose whether they would like to have the apps or they do via subscription. And the OEM can take the app store fee, right? So this is something we're looking forward to, and we're still just in the starting phase and still trying to make things more concrete. And here, I introduce the information to all of you and also hope and welcome that you or maybe your colleagues in China could join us together and bring the discussions forward together and fast. Thank you very much.